Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, it's going to be the best storm build currently in Wizard101. I will do the same exact video for all the other schools, right? I've already uploaded similar videos this before Salinopolis, so people were wondering if the setup changed after Salinopolis. So I did change my setup just slightly, and we'll talk about that in this video. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join Discord. Appreciate everyone that joins the Discord. We're like close to 1.5k members, and I appreciate everyone that subscribed. We're really Honestly, we're on the grind to 6k at this point. It's kind of insane, but appreciate all you guys for the support. Also, sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, I woke up not too long ago and I'm already recording a video. But let's go over my current storm build. I have like a lot of builds, but that's because I've been testing some stuff in my own time. But this setup is still tried and true. Now, for the main part is we are rocking 170, of course, that's the max level. I am a tornado weaver. You don't have to be a tornado weaver. You don't have to weave into balance, but I've already explained why I chose balance in all my other weaving videos as a storm. It's specifically for the blade, which I don't know. Yeah, I do have trained. It's just for the blade. You don't have to do this. You can make arguments against the other ones. You can do death, myth, either one of those three, death, myth, balance, either one of those three kind of work. Or if you're doing fire, I guess for PvP, they all have their own specific niches, but I choose balance. It's my preferable best in any time a team scenario, stackability scenario, challenge mode, etc. It's a unique buff, so someone's taking care of like Ellie blading you, you can just do your dual blade. Simple. It's a unique buff. I got 9.9k HP. Everything else is kind of straightforward. 239. Of course, with the curve, if there wasn't a curve, I would have 250, but since there's a cap and a curve, I'm at 239. Accuracy is kind of straightforward. 52 pierce and everything else. Yeah. I don't care about shad rating. I know some people want me to make shad builds. Can I have like somewhat decent stats and still have a lot of shads? You don't need shads nowadays. I'll be honest, in regular PvE, there is no reason for you to be running around and using like, for example, Iron Sultan, Glowbug. I don't see a need because it's an RNG stat rating, right? Even if you have the most insane shads, that doesn't mean you'll get turn one shad every single time, right? So if you don't get it and you have this whole shad build or whatever, you're completely chalking up your teammates' run, because what is your point losing out on certain stats just so you can get a chance at getting a shad round one? I don't know. I don't see a reason for that, so that's why I don't particularly make builds centered around shads, just because it's just been Waller AoE round one. If not round two, just hit with the Stormlord. Kind of straightforward. But yeah, these are the stats. Pretty straightforward stats. Let's go over the gear. Now I switched to Avatar. Now, like I said in all my other videos, Avatar and Reaver, exact same. I already made a video talking about Avatar versus Reaver, Salinopolis versus Wallaroo, whatever. But I preferably like using the Avatar hat. Now you don't have to, it is up to you. I prefer it specifically for the item guard. If you don't care about item guards, right, you're not an item guard person, you just care about the strict the strict stats or whatever, just get Avatar. Or you can get Reaver, you can do Nightmare Dungeon, or you can go farm, I believe Kansu drops the hats. But it's easier from getting it from Salinopolis in my opinion, and the hat is better, so there's that. Pins don't matter too much. I don't really care about sword pins. I'm not using actual balance damage. They're just here for the memes. But I do like using balance resist. Now, when it comes to like your shield pins, you have a little bit of variety. Like every school has their own separate shield pins. So if you don't want balance, you want to have fire, go for it. Or you can have life. I just specifically chose balance personally, but you can have fire too if you're struggling against fire. Fire would probably be a little bit more optimal, but I kind of like having my balance resist to a certain extent because I've been testing out some stuff, so I just saw between the two, right? But the sword pins I don't really care too much because I'm not playing as a cosplaying school right now. I'm not doing anything balance related. It's just strictly here just for the memes. I'm not even lying to you, but I do like the Avatar hat. Like I said, I do like that item card, but you can use Reaver or Avatar, doesn't make a difference. Stats are literally the same, so there's that. Now the robe, I use demonic robe. Now you get this from the Polaris raid. Yes, the raid. If you don't know what a raid is, I will probably make a video on it because I've been getting asked a little bit in the comments. But straightforward is it's a raid, 12-person dungeon, etc, etc. Everyone has their own roles. But when you defeat the boss, you have a chance of getting some gear, and demonic is one of those pieces. It's a really good piece. I like it. It's basically just nullity template but upgraded. So there's that. Now I do use a balance accuracy. Now you don't have to. I like it because the fact is, if anything, I'm doing like a balance spell, specifically like Tornado Blade or even Ellie Blade, I do get extra accuracy in case I have a mantle on me. So I like that. And there's no other school that I'm using personally. You could put Death, I guess, for feints, but I personally have always been rocking balance on my Storm, in case for the dual blades or Ellie blades and stuff like that. I don't really do the feints because the supports are usually taking care of the feints. So you have the option between the two. Now, let's say you don't do raids. I know this is going to be brought up a lot in my comments. You can literally just do, where is it? The plot armor robe. Now you get this specifically from doing the library gauntlet, which I own, a lot of people in the Discord own. So if you need somebody to run it, like, or use the gauntlet, you can just use mine. Just join Discord and ping me or whatever, or someone else might have it in the Discord as well. But you can use this as an alternative. Realistically, the only thing you lose, right, you lose that 1% pierce, and you do lose some damage. So in actuality, you technically, if you put all the stats together, because with the curve and everything like that, you lose 1% damage and 1% pierce. And then of course some crit rating, I guess, but you do gain some extra resist. The power pips don't matter because you already got it, but you do gain some extra health and some 2 extra res. But like most of the time, you're gonna get pierced anyways as a Storm, so it doesn't really matter. I guess the only pro that you can think about this is the extra health. That's the only thing. So if you want to use the library gauntlet robe, go for it. Just like I said, though, for the power pin, either use balance or death, anything that's like a support card that you use other than your own school. But I use balance. That's just an Almond thing. You can do whatever you like, right, at the end of the day. But yeah, that's like your secondary option. A third option, I wouldn't give you a third option because these are the 2 best options in my opinion. But if you have done the raid, use Daemonic Robe. It's like a no-brainer. And the boots, I do use Reaver. You can use Avatar, but the thing is, I don't like the Avatar boots because they give a Spirit Blade. I still keep them on me because there is times where, like, certain challenge modes or certain advanced combat modes, I have to cosplay and be a mid school. So for that reasoning, I do swap to these because it does give me an item card Spirit Blade, so I don't have to have it on a jewel, etc, etc. That is the only time. It's a very niche thing, but I know getting Reaver boots is kind of annoying because, you know, Nightmare Dungeon, not everyone knows how to do it, even though there's plenty of videos, plenty of guides. It's just very inaccessible for new players that just only strictly use team up. So doing Kansu is just better. But I think the boots are dropped from Loon Knight, which Loon Knight has a cheese right now, so definitely go do the cheese stuff. I've already uploaded a video on it. If it's patched by the time this video is uploaded, I'll be surprised, but currently, from what I know, it's not patched, so you can do the cheese stuff. But for the power pin, like I said, still use balance or death, preferably either or. But yeah, I just prefer the Reaver boots because the trap card, which I've used in advanced content. So that is just an Almond preference, but use either or if you don't care about like challenge mode or anything. You just want the stats, then just use either or. Pick whatever. Now the wand, I use Shabalba. It's always been Shabalba. I know some people question me on why aren't you using Avatar, why aren't you using Reaver, which I don't even think I own Reaver in my inventory. But you can use Avatar. Wait, this is Avatar and Reaver are the exact same thing. I have to preface this a lot, like, trust me. I know some people already know this, but I get asked this quite often, so I have to preface this a lot. But you can use Avatar or Reaver, right? The only difference is, realistically, is just the item cards, right? But with Shabalba is you do get slight increases of certain stats. So for example, I think I can pull this up. So if you look right here, you get 5% Storm Pierce and then 5% Universal Pierce. Well, if you look at Avatar, you only get 9% Pierce in total. Well, if you add these 5 and 5 together, you get 10. So you get 1 extra Pierce on the Shabalba wand, and also do like using this for the Starblade because sometimes I do swap my deck around. So there's that. Now, if you don't know where the Shabalba wand is, you get this from the Hunhao raid or the Azteca raid, whatever you want to call it, the Crying Sky raid. So that raid is still a little bit more annoying in my opinion, right? It's still up there, but getting this is actually worth it. Now, if you don't want to do raids, there's an option. Yes, there is a pack. I think it's called like the Fairy Cape pack. Let me see. Yeah, the Fairy Cape pack. And thankfully now we can inspect items now, so this is just a perfect thing for the video. So if I find it, there you go. So if you guys see, it's literally just a 1-for-1 stack copy. The only thing is because I have health right here socketed. The only another thing is you lose the item cards. So if you want that Starblade, well, you're gonna have to do the raid. But if you just want the stats to have a 1-for-1 stack copy, then yeah, you can open the Fairy Cape pack. But keep in mind later in 2025 we'll have new templates, we'll have as well as a new level, right? 180, but that's not till like the end of the year of next year, like, you know, the same time where we had around Sonopolis. So you have to keep that in mind. So yeah, use Shababa, use Fairy K Wand. Those are like your top one options, and then top two is either using Avatar or Reaver. If you pick whatever one you like the item cards from, or whatever one's easier to farm, probably Avatar is easier to farm because it's from Taking Tree, and Taking Tree is like a 2-round fight. So there's that. A theme, you can use Reaver, or actually I don't have the Avatar on me, but you can use Reaver or Avatar. They're exact same copy. I have damage socketed on, and I have health. Pretty straightforward. If you don't want to rock the 155 health, what I do sometimes recommend is if you go to Dingo or Bingo, whatever his name is, you can go over here, you can get some item card, or is it Pwn Trap, or an item card Sharpened Blade. Very good, because with this setup you don't have, I mean, you have a lot of item cards, but once we talk about the pet you'll see why I don't use Sharpened Blade. But you can rock on your tier jewel Pwn Trap or Sharpen. It's realistically up to you, or even the Feint. So that is up to you, but I like having the health. That is just my personal preference, because I'm not needing it on a storm, because the fact is I don't need Pwn Trap or Pierce, or not Pwn Trap or Pierce, Pwn Trap or Sharpened Blade, because I'm on a hitting school, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But yeah, Reaver or Avatar, just make sure you have the same sockets as me. And then Amulet, I use Hun Hao. Now there is an exact copy of this. So Hun Hao, obviously, as I stated earlier, you get it from the Azteca raid, kind of straightforward. But if you want the pack version of this, you can only get it from the Florimancer pack. And the issue with the Florimancer pack is that pack only comes around during Halloween. I don't know why they did that. It's following the trend or whatever of what they're doing, like their system. But I don't think the Florimancer pack should be like a pack that's specifically for Halloween, because it has a template that people actually like want, and if that template or that pack is not in the shop, then you're forced to do raids. So for the pay to play people, it kind of sucks for them. But yeah, so if you want the Hun Hao Amulet, you gotta do the raid, or if you open Florimancer packs, you can use either or. The only thing is just the item cards would be different. But yeah, Hun Hao's good, but I do switch to Reaver. Now, difference between them is you do lose some resist, and that's realistically, I do get more pip conserve, which I don't care about, and I do lose some block, but that's realistically it. But I do switch over to Reaver because I do like the 0 pip Stormblade. Now, I have used this multiple times in challenge mode, multiple times in certain scenarios, so I like using this. And my argument is, yes, you can get Avatar, that is completely fine, right? It's the same stats, but you're not going to be using these item cards at all, like at all, in PvE. So I advise you to get yourself a Reaver Amulet instead. It's just way better, right? Every school will have their own school blade, so get Reaver Amulet specifically for your school. You won't regret it. But if you have done raids, get the Hun Hao one and upgrade it to 170. They're both good in their own rights, and I actually swap between them. I actually do. But for this setup, I do use Hun Hao when I'm just casually helping people or doing stuff. I do use Hun Hao. Oh yeah, and then make sure you have the right sockets as well. Damage and 16% storm accuracy. And then the ring, I use Reaver. You can use Reaver or Avatar. You guys can see it's literally a 1-to-1 copy. And then what I do use is I use health. But as I stated, you can use Pwn Trap, Sharpened Blade, whatever one you like. And then I do have the dual school Pierce Jewels. Now, as I said, this is just for the memes. You do not have to do this. You can literally socket on 6% Storm Pierce, call it a day. If you're wondering how I got this, watch the balance weaving guide. That's literally how I got this. But yeah, that's basically where I got it. And then it's just for the memes. But you can just have 6% Pierce and call it a day. And yeah, I just socket on some health. Pretty straightforward. Now the pet is something that's different from the last video. I actually use a hamster now. Now the thing is, with this setup, you do not need the Frilosaur set bonus. You just don't. Storm and I believe one other school, I have it written down somewhere in my notes, but those two schools don't need a Frilosaur set bonus anymore, at least currently. I still have my other pet right here. Where is it? Right here. That still has it on the Frilosaur set bonus, so if I ever do need a swap for certain builds, I just put back the Frilosaur. But You can only get this hamster from Storm Decathlon, hence the exclusive pet. You cannot hatch for this. You can't be asking people for it. It's exclusive. You can hatch with it, yes, but you will never get the hamster. You'll always get your pet back, which some people like it because the fact is then you can copy these talents on whatever pet you want. Now, if you don't want to use the hamster, or if you don't have access to it, I do have some options for you. If you don't want to use the hamster, or like you don't have access to it, make yourself a raincore pet. I've been sleeping on the raincore for so long, but more and more I realize why it's so good. You do get a Stormblade, so that's something to keep in mind. But you also get a 2-pip Darkwind that's a 35% bubble. Now, keep in mind, regular Storm Bubble, it is 25. Now, I've always used like an Amulet item card or a Jewel item card, so that's why I really kind of just like sleep on it, or I have someone else do it. But for yourself, it's good to use, it's good to have, right? In case you're for like you're rocking a 2-storm setup in challenge mode or anything like that, it's nice to have, right? So I do recommend the Raincore. And then the second option I recommend is, where is it? I should have it. Oh, Gulcher. I don't have it leveled up, but basically it gives you Stormblade and a Windstorm. And this Windstorm does stack with that one. So if you have a regular Windstorm, you can use your pet Windstorm, and then you can have like a triangle Jewel Windstorm or whatever. Like you can keep stacking these. So that one is just up to you. Do you want to make a hamster, which is what I recommend currently, but I'm going to make the same exact pet on my Storm Cloud or like the Rain Cloud pet, and then I'm also going to make it on a Gulcher, just so whenever I need to have that item card, it just comes down to what I need to do. So either one of those 3 pets work. There's probably going to be a million other recommendations by other people, like for example, like I don't know, Gobbler Ball or something like that. But in my opinion, whenever I make my I guess gear guide for the whole game, I'm going to be including these 3 pets. That's just what I prefer and just what's more beneficial. But it's the same stats, triple damage with double pierce, and you guys can see the pet. I have Piercer, Breaker, Giver, Dealer, Mighty, and Giver. Ideally, I know I should have Piercer in the pool and so I can on Giver so it's more friendly, but I have so many Piercer jewels, so I just couldn't be bothered. And yeah, so there's that. Shout out to Edak for the help on this pet. Thank you. And then the mount, I use a 2% Pierce mount. You can get these, they come back so often in the crown shop. I kind of talked about it in the bundle guide, but if you want to get a bundle, you can get either one of the Pierce mounts, right? You can get this one. I forgot the name of the bundle already, but you can get this one, or you can get the Clockwork Corsair one. It's just up to you. Do you want to wait till it comes back in the crown shop, or do you want to just buy the bundle right off the rip and go for the mount? It's up to you, but I just like using the Vulpine Avenger out of the 2 because they're exactly the same. It's just models different. You get the same stats. That's the whole premise. And then the deck, I use Shabalba deck. Does that mean you have to use Shabalba deck? Does it come with like any slight differences? Like just mainly it's just like health, like some health. You lose some, you gain some block over here, and that's realistically it. But I do like having all 3. So I do like using Shabalba deck for the Starblade, and I do keep the avatar on me because there is times where I like using the Ellie Blade, right? For stacking scenarios, it's just nice to have it in my inventory. And then if we go over here to the Reaver one, it does come with the Starblade as well. It's just mainly difference is just some health differences. So there's that, and there's plenty of other decks that you can use, which I probably don't have on me, but I think those are the 3 I would recommend. Either Shabalba, 170 specifically. Of course, you can use Avatar or you can use Reaver. They both have their own specific niches with the item cards, but I do like Avatar. Like it just depends on what I'm doing, and I just swap to it. But for my regular setup, I do use Shabalba on my Storm. And that's basically it. That's how you get all these stats. So you get 239 with 52 pierce. And if you're wondering what it looks like with the plot armor robe, because then someone's gonna ask, you just literally have 238 with 51. You just lose 1% in both stats, but you do gain more HP. So I hit the 10k mark if you care about that. But for me personally, I'm still gonna have my Reaver. It's always been tried and, or not my Reaver. It's always been Demonic. That's my tried and true, and that's what I always use. So that's how you get the storm stats that I currently have. In my opinion, these are the best storm stats you can have in the game currently. If you want to rock a Shad build, go for it. It's just not something I would recommend to the player base, just because Shads are chance based. Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's really not just worth packing bugs and sound and musicology. If you want to, go for it. If you want to be quirky, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I pack sound and musicology just for the memes if I'm bored. But like if I'm actually like trying or whatever, I'm only gonna this is just what my deck setup is, literally. And then maybe in my side deck I might carry like an extra blade or like an extra AoE, but that's literally all I carry in my deck. But yeah, I will make videos for these for all the other schools, but just for now I thought I'd just upload a storm video, and later on I'll upload all the other schools. So yeah, but that is it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, or message me in the Discord or ping me in the Discord. I'm pretty active in the Discord, so sometimes people ask me certain things, I just kind of should tell them. And yeah, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join Discord as I stated, and hopefully we get to 6k subs. Who knows? We'll keep grinding. You know how it be. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.